Yeah, I've never heard of Toonami. What? Yeah, I had no idea that's what Samurai Jack was about. Generic Control in the Dark Goose. We heard back with another nostalgia create video, and today we're doing one that's been requested for so long, and it is the Toonami video. Now, this is going to surprise probably 0% of you, but I've never heard of Toonami until people started requesting this, even though I did watch Cartoon Network as a kid. As people said in the comment section of the last video, they were like, you can't call yourself a Cartoon Network kid if you never heard of Toonami. I was like, maybe it's before my time. I was born in 1997. You can check out my last video, like, I just talked about the comments from that video, which was The Happening, which is a very weird movie. You can check my reaction to that video. I'll leave it right up there. I'll also be linked down below in the description. Also in a place on my channel with all my other nostalgic reactions, going in chronological order. Now, that video had a charity shout out at the end of it, which was like JDRF, I believe, which was a charity for type 1 diabetes. That video in the first day made $9. Okay, why? Made a whopping $9.77. Okay, maybe. Yeah, you can see that. And then you can see the oh my god, you can see the donation right there. I couldn't do things like that if it weren't for my patrons like these people right down here. So this video has a charity shout out at the end of it. Whatever this video makes in the first day, I will donate it to that charity. And like I said, I could not do that if it wasn't for my patrons. These people right down here, they get all my reaction videos a day early. Minimum price $3 a month for at least like 16 videos a week, which is absolute insanity, and it supports the channel so much. So shout out to the patrons, and shout out to everybody watching these videos. Even if you don't have any money to give on Patreon and you want to donate to charity, then you can watch these videos and your view is going towards helping other people and or helping me, which is also awesome, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for being here. I do read every single one of your comments, whether you're a patron, whether you're a subscriber or not. But this is Toonami. It's a long video. Get your food ready, get your homework ready, play a video game while you watch this, get some water, stay hydrated, and let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright. And if you skip the intro, if this video has a charity shout out at the end of this video, whatever this video makes in the first day, we'll go to that charity. Shout out to the patrons, because I could not do it if it weren't for them. Because, oh my god, this is so loud. I could literally do this and still hear it loudly. I could take off both headphones. It's so loud. Is it supposed to be this loud? Like, I feel like that's... No, it's that loud. Wow. Because sometimes my controller makes it just ridiculously loud.
Oh, man, this brings back so many...
Yeah, I've never heard of Toonami.
School's out, it's evening time, and it's time for Toonami.
Oh, you mean the greatest lineup of animation ever?
Yeah, I did. Thank you for correcting me.
All right.
Let's
get this party started.
I have no idea. I've never seen this before.
Will you kids keep it down? Some of us have actual work to do around here.
But Critic, we're watching Toonami.
I don't care what you kids are into nowadays. Just turn that
nowadays.
down before I turn you down.
Before you turn me down.
I don't care, eyeball. Turn it down.
Understandable.
That's better.
Did they make the intro loud because Toonami's... Yeah, adulting's
Wait, I
hard.
don't get it. Isn't this an episode on Toonami?
Well,
My
it
toilet's
was
broken,
just past
my
his
car's
age
shit, engine
range,
lights
so-
on.
So he doesn't know the impact it had on so many people?
Nah, man, he's gotten old. He's become one of them. An adult.
Well, for someone who
Don't
talks
do
about
it.
nostalgia so much, he should be educated about it.
Nah, he's too close-minded.
No. It is our duty to teach him about the awesomeness of Toonami.
What year was Toonami out? When did this happen?
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, I loved Cartoon Network.
Hoppity gobble.
I'm guessing he's supposed to be like
Oh, what, did
Scrooge.
your phones break? You millennials. Dude, your calculator's a phone. I know what I said! What'd I say?
Has a
We're
point.
asking what we wanted.
Yeah, that!
We know that Toonami was a little bit past your time, but you really should understand the impact that it had on kids to tell more epic stories.
The only
I think
thing
it was before
important
my
to people
time.
my age is knowing how much people your age suck. Now get
Wow.
out of here while I eat my gruel.
You're what?
See, he's too old.
I don't know what that's supposed
Just let
to
him
be.
hate everything.
No.
Just let him hate
It's
everything.
your duty to represent these timeless shows that made an impact on a generation. How dare you, boy! And if we're gonna get you into this, we're gonna do it the right way.
What is the right way?
What is that?
I don't know. And for some reason, the audio is staticky. I don't know why that is. Oh, we got budget for this episode. I think we got budget for this episode. I don't know who that's supposed to be. I couldn't tell you. absolutely awesome Lucian. Is that a PewDiePie chair?
Tom? Wait, you know
What do you
who
mean, Tom?
is?
Who's Tom?
Maybe I watched a little Toonami.
It's time to kick ass where there was none and enlighten those who doubt the awesomeness.
No! This is both humbug and poppycock!
Come on, Critic.
Poppycock.
It's time for you to see the light.
Oh! My bones are frail and brittle! Come on, you're not that old. Okay.
That's how I feel.
In 1997, the then relatively new
1997, the
Cartoon
year
Network
I was
ran a
born,
big
I was supposed to
series
know
of
what this
shows
is?
called Toonami. This
Bro.
wasn't their 100% family-friendly programming, but it wasn't their late-night grown-up Adult Swim programming either.
I
It was
did
somewhere
watch
in
Adult
between.
Swim.
They mostly focused on series with a lot of action, slightly too extremely mature themes, and usually had a leaning towards a Japanese style of animation. In fact, many of the shows were imports from Japan, introducing a whole
which
new
I'd never seen
generation
Dragon
of
Ball
classic
anything
anime
until
that,
the
while
abridged.
available in America, didn't have nearly the same following.
I'm guessing
until
that's Gundam?
Toonami came along. The problem is, while I was aware of its existence, though, I saw
Powerpuff
only bits
Girls.
of it at a time. I didn't really grow up with Toonami to fully reflect on what it meant to so many people.
But we
And
did.
Sailor
So
Moon.
we're gonna go through all the shows that left the biggest impact on us.
Now keep in mind, we didn't grow up with every show on Toonami, so some parts will be missing.
We're just gonna hit the ones that influenced us the most. For better?
Or worse.
I'm Malcolm.
So let's dive right into it. Despite Tom being the best-known host, Toonami
I'm
actually
having
started
to-
off with Moltar from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, introducing every show you were about to see.
Why does
I
that
didn't hear
show sound
anything that was
familiar?
just said,
Space
just
Batman
because I was trying
Millions.
to fix the static issue for an hour-long video. Totally nuts about a cannon blast.
Though he wasn't Tom, he was still a pretty cool host, still keeping the laid-back, low-key tone to offset the extreme soundtrack and action that often played alongside him.
We all get by with a little help.
Yeah, I have no idea what Sailor Moon is
All be
about.
super friends. One of the first shows to start off Toonami was a collection of old superhero shorts called Cartoon Roulette.
What?
Now this I'm familiar with.
can really talk about
Why would I start
roulette?
this off?
For
This was a send-up
Guess it
of
wasn't
all
for
the
kids.
classic superhero cartoons of old. It ranged from the groundbreaking Fleischer Superman serials from the 40s, the enjoyably cheesy Hanna-Barbera shorts of the 60s, to the Super
Hanna-Barbera.
Friends show in the 70s, when the Justice League fought side by side with Wonder Dog and two human perms and bell-bottoms. I can see why this Toonami was so popular.
this wasn't popular,
Honestly,
I'm
it was
guessing.
more of a kind gesture than hit programming. This was a fun way of showing how far superhero shows have come, as the story, style, and characters
Dr.
were often
Doom,
pretty
bonk.
laughably bad compared to modern-day series.
Also, why would the icicle go down on Earth?
It was the equivalent of showing the
Why
Adam
would it?
West Batman before the Dark Knight. It was just interesting.
I haven't
to
seen
see how
anything
far
Batman,
we've come.
ever.
And the Wonder Twins, Sand and Jaina, with their space monkey, Bleak.
Space Monkey?
Regardless, it was still cool to see the history of many of these icons in animation, and some of them, like the Fleischer cartoons, still have amazing animation that would inspire many classic cartoons of the future. So, while hilariously dated, it was also neat to see what some of the great superhero shows we've grown to love today were inspired by.
Well, I've never seen any of
There's a
them.
lesson here somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him, Wonder Dog. I'm sure
So what
Captain
year does this
Caveman
run
will need a
to?
sidekick soon.
But not every show had dated animation. Some was cutting edge, like the first fully computer animated TV show, Reboot.
Reboot?
Ever wanted to see Canada's version of Wreck-It Ralph? It's gotta be less scary than their PSAs.
Yeah, that's
Reboot's
true.
the game
Well, we
changer
should have a
about
commercial
games.
coming soon. Commercial special. Reboot? Never heard of it.
While the show ran in syndication,
Oh,
Reboot
no.
regularly got its biggest following on Toonami, even to the final season premiering on it. The gist is a computer system city known as Mainframe, constantly under attack from the viruses Megabyte and Hexadecimal. It's up to the Guardian program, Bob, with his friends Enzo and Dot Matrix,
Enzo, like
Rivers
Ferrari?
are quiet.
Oh.
to defend Mainframe
What?
from the viruses and GameCubes. No, not those GameCubes.
Yeah.
Unless Batman Dark Tomorrow's in there. Sent into the city by the user.
Precisely.
Reboot was a really fun and unique show. It was the same production company, Mainframe Entertainment, that also produced Beast Wars Transformers. This show was imaginative, interesting, and
Oh,
filled with
wasn't
some
Beast
very
Wars the thing that
memorable
everyone
characters.
loved?
Even though they look like the Lawnmower Man ate the rock from Mummy Returns.
You
Oh,
don't get it, man. You weren't there.
But I was!
But you didn't care.
Well,
you
yeah.
care.
Okay, then.
That was...
Who just won that?
I don't know.
It may not look as impressive all these years later, but the design style actually worked for the show, and when you consider the time period,
yeah.
it's definitely a technical achievement.
For sci-fi?
Dare you
Oh, I guess.
interrupt me when I'm putting on my face?
Unfortunately,
Okay.
Reboot ended on an unresolved cliffhanger, and there hasn't been much talk about finishing the story in the years
Well, I wonder if they're gonna
since. There was
reboot
a
it.
reimagining released recently called
Netflix.
Reboot the Guardian Code, but the less said about that,
Oh, fuck.
Though it started off a bit more kid-friendly, it
That's
got more
bad.
intense and adult as the show went on, leaving many of us with a show that, while dated-looking, was still stylized, groundbreaking, and gave us some cool adventures. It ironically doesn't need a reboot to be remembered fondly.
Oh, I mean, you gotta finish that cliffhanger.
But as mentioned before, anime played a big part in Toonami's lineup, and one of anime's biggest names is Sailor Moon.
Ugh, no, dude,
I
I've
can
covered this before.
I'm guessing they're
But I
supposed
can
to be
cover it correctly.
sailors. Yeah, I don't know anything about Sailor Moon.
Whip out your crime-fighting miniskirts and don't trip on your hair extensions. Sailor Moon is rocking the planets.
I
The 90s were all about
Buffy the
girl
Vampire
And
Slayer.
Dunkaroos,
Yeah,
it was a movement.
Dunkaroos.
and
What?
nothing defined that more than Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon follows the adventures of Serena, a teenager who discovers that she has the ability to transform into a magical Sailor Scout from the Moon Kingdom. She later discovers that there are 4 other girls who also have these powers, and together they form a team that must fight the powers of the Negaverse to protect Earth.
Oh, please say the leader of the Negaverse looks like this.
Kinda. Each scout is named after the planets: Sailor Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and of course, Moon.
Moon's
not a planet.
It's a moon.
You're a moon.
It's a celestial body. Wow. This
Eventually, they'd be
note
joined
with the
by
crackling
others, including
headphones.
Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, just to name a few. The ladies kicked butt and took names in the name of the moon,
Which is not a planet.
and is still one of the longest-running magical girl animes ever. It had
How long
worldwide
was it?
appeal to girls, women, and even boys and men. Sailor Moon was a wonderful show that was action-packed, sweet, and cute. It showcased strong female friendships with humor,
It reminds me of
romance, and
Dragon Ball
adventure.
Z,
In America, it
abridged,
was actually first
the
shown
character.
on 2 other networks before it took hold on Toonami in 1998. It was part
I
of
was
the
one.
lineup for the next 3 years, being a staple in its early identity. Seasons 3 and 4 were originally aired on Toonami, a little bit more unedited than the original 2 seasons. All 3
Why?
movies were also shown on Toonami. Season 5 of the series was never aired on television as the contract expired in 2003 and has never been renewed or shown on American television since.
Oh, really?
Well, this is just a theory, but Season 5 starred 3 new Sailor Scouts, dubbed the Sailor Starlights, who were men,
they-
at least pretending to be while on Earth, that transformed into women when they took their powered form. I'm guessing that's something
Okay.
2001 probably wasn't ready for.
Oh, come
Probably,
on.
yeah.
It's Uranus and Neptune cousins instead of lesbians, resulting in...
It seems so long ago, my first kiss. Like it was yesterday.
Oh, God. I
Kids
watched
hearing the term
Chainsaw
kissing
Man
cousins for the first time.
episode 7 that I will never
Though there
recover.
were certainly action
Never
shows that had
recover.
girls in them, the casts were usually male-dominated. So it's nice that Toonami not only had a show that was female-dominated, but was
What was
also
the Powerpuff
funny,
Girls?
imaginative,
Was
and
Powerpuff Girls on
incredibly
this?
entertaining, proving the lasting power of the moon.
Again, not a planet.
Neither is Pluto.
That just proves my
Pluto is a
Not
planet.
going away anytime soon.
I know Sailor Moon was a real big hit anime on Toonami.
I know
but
it's
wasn't there
really
one that was an
popular.
even bigger
I had no
hit?
idea what it was
I
about.
think it was called Dragon.
Oh, I got this one!
Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Z Bridge, right? Oh.
Dragon Rice?
Dragon Dude.
Volume
No.
to over 9,000. One of the most popular animes of all time is flying around
Yeah.
with Dragon Ball Z.
And probably the most popular bridge series on the
What
internet.
said about Dragon Ball Z that hasn't already been said?
There are a couple of animes
That I've only
that
ever seen the
immediately spring
abridged.
to mind when you hear the word.
Dragon Ball Z was definitely one of them.
We follow the story of Goku, which is loosely based on Journey to the West, on steroids.
Sun Wukong.
This is actually the sequel to the show Dragon Ball, in which our hero Goku tried to collect powerful Dragon Balls in order to summon a dragon to grant him and his friends wishes.
What's up,
Dragon
biggest
Ball,
green?
somewhat confusingly, wouldn't air on Toonami until after Dragon Ball Z was shown, but thankfully, you can follow Dragon Ball Z fine, even if you haven't seen the original Dragon Ball.
This
Or
show
you can
had
follow the abridged
everything.
spot.
Explosive battles.
I'm showing it to my best friend right now. We're about to do episode 60.
Iconic characters.
It still maintains some of the characters and worlds as the original Dragon Ball, but adds more. Goku is now grown up. He discovers that he's actually part of a race called the Saiyans from his brother Raditz, but had
Oh, yeah,
Raditz
Raditz.
shortly after his arrival and totally forgot his mission of destruction and dominance.
So kind of like Iron
Superman.
Giant meets a screaming goat.
Absolutely nothing like that, but if it helps you, sure.
Goku refuses to join Raditz and fighting ensues.
The lore of the series was
And
massively
Goku
expanded
dies.
over its 291 episode run. The next generation is
I
also
wish I could
infused
react
as
to all
Goku
of it.
becomes a father.
I would
His
love to.
sons, Gohan and Goten, had varying sized
Go for
roles
10.
as the series progressed.
DBZ put anime on the map for most of the Western world. While it had some syndication on various channels, Toonami had become the primary hub to broadcast the show.
I had no
Showing
idea.
61 million viewership rating
Holy,
for every episode.
that's
It ran for
insane.
years on the program block. Even after its initial run,
I
the
had
show was
no
redubbed,
idea that
re-edited,
Dragon Ball
and
Z
shown.
was
It
on
really connected
Cartoon
with
Network
people in
ever.
a massive way Toonami had never seen before in its programming. It was marketed to a large age range, focusing on the action and humor of the show. It has often been imitated and parodied, especially when people want to go Super Saiyan.
I'm sorry, was that wasn't Devil Artemis, was it? Was that a Devil Artemis clip?
We couldn't get
That was
enough
Super
of
Saiyan
it.
2.
The fights, the powers, the characters, the stories.
Where's the Super Saiyan
it was
3?
endlessly
Lots of hair.
entertaining, and this show's legacy has not slowed down.
It became super quotable, from characters spouting quippy one-liners to shouting
Talk
their
about the
signature
Bridge
moves
series.
before doing them in.
It's over 9,000!
I like
Very
Nick's voice
monster of the
better.
week, but its entertainment value
Shout out
came
to
from
Nick,
the
he's
over-the-top
subscribed to the
adventures
channel.
the characters would go on.
Maybe the most
Let's
humorous
Lanny
thing about
Fedora.
Toonami airing DBZ was how ridiculous the censorship sometimes was.
Like
Funimation
what?
and American censors went infamously overboard with how much they wanted to cut down on some of the violence, blood,
Piffle,
and crude humor
which
of
they're
the
actually about to
original
drop a new
Japanese
episode.
version.
I'll react to
Everything
it.
from changing translations to hilariously obvious visual additions were apparent through its first run on Toonami.
Is that
I
Kool-Aid?
remember the last time I had a frosty mug of water.
Remember when killing meant sending you to another dimension? Or the home for infinite losers?
What?
What?
Yeah, no favorite losers.
Did they really think we couldn't take hearing the word hell? We just watched someone get their entire body cut in half.
It's fine.
The uncut episodes were later released, but the ridiculous attempts at sanitizing DBZ is a big part of its initial identity in the US.
Regardless, the concept may be simplistic, but if anything, Dragon Ball is a story about friendship and how you can find allies in unexpected places.
Yeah.
Even old enemies eventually become allies to take on even greater challenges.
And
While there's
adopt their
certainly
kid.
people who just see it as scream porn, and yeah,
That's
I can
not a
see why.
thing.
When you really sit down and watch it, you can see how much of an epic story they can tell with simple, yet likable and relatable characters.
Dragon Ball Z has had a lasting impression around the world.
Oh, for
becoming
sure.
a template for shonen action.
It's still
series
coming out
of
with
the
new-
future.
The show defined the
It's
late
still coming out with new
90s and
stuff.
early
Isn't there one
2000s
coming out
for
next year?
millions of
The fall
kids.
next year?
And Toonami owes a giant chunk of its popularity at the time to the epicness that is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, we're like not even
Come on,
20
it's
minutes into
nowhere
this video.
near the impact the real adventures that Johnny Quest had.
Who? The real Avengers?
Just want to talk about something I know.
I never get to talk about anything I know.
Everything was weirdly shadowed, and nowadays, where Tom and Jerry are invited on missions, Johnny Quest has a surprisingly decent show.
Johnny Quest. I know Johnny
Based on the
Test.
campy spy cartoon.
That's not Johnny Test.
Hanna-Barbera gave Johnny Quest a total upgrade, including better animation, more complex stories and characters, and high-tech...
Nightmares.
CGI?
Yeah, what were you saying about the CGI on Reboot again?
That was a long time ago. Things changed. The CG is
Oh,
cleverly
what's going on with
used
the face?
Just when they need to enter the virtual world. The rest of the show is hand-drawn and,
Much
while
better.
still kid-friendly, had a bit more of a mature edge to it.
Bandit! Come on, Bandit, over here!
Okay,
Nice.
I said a bit.
It could be kind of
That's a
silly,
big snake.
but it's Johnny Quest.
Is that that
It's kind of
20-foot
expected.
Burmese python that
With
Fish
weird
and Garrett's
elements
looking
like
for?
the Quest virtual worlds, Hachi now having psychic powers. You know that old Indian cliche. And like I said, giving the
What?
dog still a prominent role, you could tell it didn't want to totally lose its corny roots. It only had 2 seasons and never rose that high in the ratings, but Toonami still gave its reruns
Oh.
a home. While it's nothing great, it's a totally serviceable cartoon. A series of adventures to entertain you for a bit, and probably be forgotten in the near future.
So why are we talking about it again then?
Because this intro is amazing!
The intro?
Okay, that was worth talking about.
It kind of reminds me of Nostalgia
I
Critics
looked that
intro. Oh, hey, look at
In summer
that.
of 1989, it was decided Moltar would be scrapped from hosting duties, and rather
Moltar?
than pick an already existing character, they made one from scratch. Tom finally entered the picture looking like Bomberman if he was pregnant. He was voiced by Steve Bloom, and the following year was given a look that reflected the fact that he was voiced by Steve Bloom.
Actually, he was first voiced by Sunny Strait. I guess he just wasn't krillin' it enough.
Krillin' it enough?
Extended its
I'm guessing that's the
runtime
voice
by
of
an
Krillin.
additional hour, showing its
How
popularity
long?
was growing. They
What
also
time?
added reruns of classic shows like Batman and Superman.
But they
Okay.
don't quench my fantasy to be chased by 5 alien women who all have the hots for me.
What?
No one's gonna stare at me?
We're
Nope.
used to it at this point.
Okay. What was this gonna be?
Bikinis ready because we're
Wait, is it mirrors the same footage of Tom being played over and over?
He has a condition. It's called limited Toonami budget.
Yeah, he's very sensitive
The
about
budget
it. We
was
tried to
limit-
bring it up. Oh, sorry.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Anyhow, get your digital bikinis ready because we're making.
He just says the same thing.
Something that was clearly meant to be an R.
What is this?
Tenchi Muyo was a harem anime with situational comedy that escalates into surreal space fantasy adventure on a whim. It focused
Funimation.
around Tenchi, a 17-year-old boy who releases a space pirate named Ryoko.
It's time to conquer Earth!
That'd be a very different show if it went that angle.
Wait.
Sure it isn't.
Oh.
Over time, 4 other women who are strange, energetic, and
Strange?
mention hot as hell
It's an anime. You don't need to.
arrive at Tenchi's home and constantly try to get in his pants.
He's 17?
Picture.
You don't know the half of
Picture.
it. Or maybe you only know the half of it, as all the nudity was constantly covered up on the show, as well as all the swearing being redubbed and the blood being edited out.
Oh, it's like that HBO Family cut of A Clockwork Orange.
What is a Clockwork Orange?
Despite it not having the intended adult edge to it, Tenchi Muyo was still fun, fan servicey, and something you desperately scour the video store to find unedited versions of.
Oh my god.
Later, Toonami would release other Tenchi properties, including Tenchi in Tokyo and Tenchi Universe. And while they certainly
Is that
left their
Diva?
mark on their fans as well, Tenchi Muyo is the one that Toonami fans remember introducing them to a situational problem.
I
none
have
of them
never
ever
seen
had,
this before.
But they so wish they did.
Well, you think that got heavily censored? Wait until you
What?
see this next one.
What? Powerpuff Girls. I did watch Powerpuff Girls.
Look at what it used to be.
Huh? What? Wait, what? That's what? That.
Spice and everything kick-ass. The Powerpuff Girls are here to save the day with their wide eyes of justice.
Okay, I know, like, you know, the one
To
that. This
day,
one.
my favorite lady group. Though it already had a huge following on
Thing
Cartoon Network's
terrified
segment
me.
called Cartoons. They were badass enough to air on Toonami as well. Honestly, it almost makes too much sense.
Mojo
Though
Jojo.
not an anime, you can tell it was heavily inspired / heavily satirizing that style. And seeing how Toonami was neck deep in anime, it only figured to have a show that was both an homage and a parody of it as well. Created by Professor Utonium.
What's he a professor of?
X.
Uh-huh.
Ology. He accidentally creates the 3 super.
The crab
girls,
thing
as
is
you
thing,
do. One
thing,
night
right?
for
Or is it called him?
Blossom
I'm
is
not
the
sure.
leader, Bubbles is the soft, kind one, and Buttercup is our tough ball of angst. To their
Ball
credit,
of
they
angst.
stick to these personality tropes way better and more consistently than some girl gangs. Mamma Mia, anyone?
No thanks.
No idea what that
The
Mamma
show is
Mia
full
is.
of fun dialogue, a
Pretty sure
great
it's a
art
song.
style, and characters that were new and creative. The villains especially stand out. Creepy Him looks different than
It
any
is
other
him.
animated character I'd ever seen.
Nightmares.
The Amoeba Boys, Sedusa, Mojo Jojo,
Mojo Jojo.
classic. Not to mention the mayor of Townsville calling on these kindergartners every day to help save the city. Those 5-year-olds have
The
some major
kindergartners?
political clout.
Yo, what's with not letting little kids fight our battles anymore?
What?
What?
Oh.
The violence on the show is also something not seen in children's shows anymore,
No.
being both surprisingly harsh and extreme. Again, a perfect fit for Toonami. Even though it probably didn't need Toonami's help to get famous, it did cement them as not only funny but badass as hell, proving epic fights aren't just for the big kids.
I mean, sure.
Well, only one thing could be more extreme than crime-fighting kindergartners.
What?
There's a lot of things that can be more extreme.
A show from the guy who made Dexter's Lab.
I did watch Dexter's Laboratory. Samurai Jack. Never watched it. Never watched it. Everybody lost their mind when they found that out. I think it was a Devil Artemis video where they had the dragon or whatever, and it was like, how do you not know what that is?
Shape-shifting master of darkness.
I don't know if I could react to it.
Unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to to oppose him. Before the final blow was struck, he tore open a portal in time and flung the samurai into the future, where Aku's evil is law. Now the samurai
in the future?
seeks to
What?
return to the past and undo the future that is Aku.
Did you just repeat the show's intro?
I'm sorry, do you have a better way of explaining the premise?
Yeah, I had no idea that's what Samurai Jack was about. He's in the future?
Samurai.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, Samurai in real time wouldn't actually.
Samurai Jack is
present time wouldn't do
nothing
well.
short of amazing. Creator Gendy Tartakovsky went from comedy to intense action comedy while hardly having to change his look at all. The show was packed to the brim with style and substance. Jack was a near-perfect protagonist, and his never-ending crusade to return to the past to save the future was as
Did he do
compelling
it?
a journey as I've seen in almost any other animated show.
Is he supposed to look like Professor Utonium as a Ninja Scroll character?
No, he's supposed to look like a Black Guy voices.
What?
I have so many questions.
The late great Mako voiced the sinister.
Oh, that's the voice of Iroh
as he was
in Avatar: Last Airbender.
I'd like to place an order for delivery.
Oh my God, I
30
hear it.
minutes, oh, it's free. Excellent!
The mix of tones from loud hilarity to quiet character studies resulted in a truly unique piece of cartoon history. It originally aired from 2001 to 2004, but didn't regularly start appearing on Toonami until 2008. In 2017,
I guess I was
the show was
11.
revived for a 5th and final season
On
that was
Adult
meant to
Swim.
finally wrap up Jack's story. This time,
Did he
the
actually
new
get
episodes
it done?
debuted on the Toonami block and were noticeably more adult in some ways. I could talk about this show for hours, but if you want more in-depth thoughts, I did a top 5 video on the best episodes right here on Channel Awesome, and also reviewed every episode of the final season on my personal channel.
People want me to
If
react
you've
to
never seen
it.
Samurai Jack,
I
you're
haven't.
missing out on one of, if not, the best original series Cartoon Network ever produced.
Okay.
Well, that's cool and all, but I thought a big part of Toonami was anime, not like anime. Where's all the Japanese fighting and giant robots?
Oh, you mean
Does anime have to be Japanese?
Oh.
Also, is that Gundam?
Well, too bad.
Oh, okay.
It's the series that launched 1,000 series.
What in the
Anime is still
world?
pretty light.
This reminds me of like a Watch Mojo video. Yeah, it is Gundam. Gundam.
If you've ever wanted to watch angsty, beautiful teen boys fighting giant robots,
You mean there's people who don't?
then boy, have I got a show for you. Gundam Wing follows the story of 5 teenagers who were selected to be a part of Operation Meteor, in which they were sent to Earth in high-powered mobile suits called
To
Gundams
fight who?
to seek revenge on a political organization called Oz.
Please tell me
Odds.
this is just the Japanese version of The Wizard of Oz.
Wait, odds or Oz?
The guys are all vaguely named after numbers. There was
Like
Hiro
what?
Yui, Duo Maxwell, Troa Barton, Ketchera Barbara Winner, and Chang Wu-fei. Sound complicated and a little convoluted?
Uh-huh.
You bet it is. It
Anime
was the
approved.
perfect mix of angst, giant robot battles, and political intrigue. Personally, I was captured by it
Political
because it was
intrigue
something
for
that I'd
kids.
never seen before. The show seized the hearts and attention of Americans when
Not
it
really
debuted
kids,
in
maybe like a
2000.
little older
It was
kids.
top rated and stayed that way for a while. Part of the appeal was the boys. They were like a murdering badass.
Why'd they look like,
each of their own
Lelouch?
personality types. Hero was the brooding
I've reacted to
deep
Code
loner.
Mint.
Duo was the wisecracking jokester. Ketra was the kind, gentle one. Troa was quiet and thoughtful. And Wu-fei was, well, super righteous, I guess.
And Scary Spice was the wild card.
Please.
Scary Spice?
That was clearly Baby Spice.
Baby Spice, what?
Gundam Wing was actually much more successful in America than in Japan, where it was originally
Really?
released in 1995. It introduced American audiences to the extremely
What was
popular
what was
Gundam
going on in
franchise.
Japan at this
Toonami
time?
tried to capitalize
Well,
on
probably
the
the
interest
housing
by showing other
crash,
shows in the series,
but-
including the original Mobile Suit Gundam. But nothing quite
What was
stuck
their
as much as Wing did.
entertainment?
Although it did create a generation of people like me who have spent literally hundreds of dollars on plastic models of robots.
How did you fit all those in your pocket?
Modern animes
that-
in America
what?
owe a due of thanks to Gundam Wing. It was aired with none of the names of the characters or music changed from the original Japanese.
Oh, that's cool.
It was also the first unedited anime ever run on Cartoon Network as a part of Toonami After Dark. I
After
always remember
Dark.
staying up until midnight to watch these unedited episodes where the characters said death and swore and had
said
blood in
death?
a battle. Yeah, the early 2000s were a more innocent time.
Oh, I don't know. It gave us this.
Freddy got
Staying
thinking, oh
true
my
to its
god.
source, altering
Why did I just
little
hear a
and giving
bang?
their
I
all
live
in every
alone,
frame,
and
Gundam
it's
told
dark.
a compelling story with compelling characters, not surprisingly, keeping us compelled.
It just reminds me of Transformers, which apparently had a TV show.
Well, I like my big robot animes to constantly rip off Batman.
You mean you actually saw?
Big O! It's showtime!
What is it?
Showtime!
How about that?
Is this every single time?
I think you just thought
They filmed this one time.
Power Rangers or something.
The Big O or the Big Zero?
Big O is like a
Big
collection
O,
of
yeah.
5 different sci-fi shows that don't go together. Yet somehow, they
I didn't really
don't
watch
go
sci-fi.
together. But the elements they're combining are still pretty damn cool. A man named Roger Smith wakes up realizing his memory has been erased. As it so
Wait, he
happens,
remembers that his
memories
memory was
around him have
erased.
been erased too. Rather than, look for answers. Everyone stays in their futuristic cities where the rich are encased in giant bubbles and the poor are left to decay in the real world.
Sounds
You
about
said
right.
This was science fiction.
Yeah.
Androids are a big part in the city's environment, and one named R. Dorothy is created as a decoy for a real kidnapped girl. But since the girl is never found and the android has nowhere to go, she stays with Roger and his butler, trying to stop wrongdoings and, if there's time, figure out what happened to everybody's memories. Oh, and for no reason at all,
What?
Giant robots!
For no because you can sell them to kids.
Yeah, on one level it's a Monster of the Week show, on another it's a crime fighting show, on another it's a social commentary show, on another it's a buddy show, and on another it's Blade Runner. It's far
Never
too
seen
many
Blade Runner.
elements to go together, but they're very cool elements to go together. And the style within both the characters and the designs reflect that.
Never heard of it,
Dorothy
never seen
is
any
one
of
the
this.
Great deadpan characters. She has little to no emotion, is strong
Well,
as
she's a
hell,
robot,
and
so-
drives Roger crazy with her robotic preciseness. It's like if Daria was the Terminator.
You mean Dorothy's going to be living with us?
It's not because I want to.
Do I have to make you get out?
You may try, but I'm doubtful that a mere human would have the strength.
Batman
You know
could.
a show is working when the opposite version of the character is presented and it's legitimately creepy. Just seeing her smile is like when Wednesday Addams smiles. It's kind of terrifying.
I'm guessing from the Addams Family. Never seen that.
The show sadly didn't do very well in Japan, meaning they had to stop at 13 episodes, even though they
Really?
wanted to do 13 more. Well, Toonami enjoyed it so much
They
they
did the other
co-produced
13?
the rest of the episodes to finish
Wow,
it.
that's cool.
There were just too many people who wanted to know what was
It's
going to
only
happen
13
next.
episodes.
Does it work as a whole?
It's probably really
Suppose
expensive.
not. It is too many different elements coming together. But those elements are so memorable and awesome that I can't see myself ever forgetting them. It may have had a short run, but it's one of the most memorable short runs an anime could ever have.
Cast in the name of God. Ye not guilty. What is this, Phoenix Wright?
Needs more hamsters.
What?
Is that a thing on Toonami?
What has hamsters in it?
It's Hamtaro time. Cushy, cushy, ticky, ticky, woo.
Did Tom just say that?
What? Oh, Hamtaro, Little Hamsters, Big Adventures.
It's Hamtaro. Hamtaro was unbelievably goddamn cute. If you were having a bad day, watching this anime about hamsters learning the value of teamwork would easily turn your frown upside down.
Oh, and he fights crime in the middle of the night.
No. What do they
Goes
do?
outside, makes new friends. Sometimes they play in the backyard.
Where they say the magic words and turn into ninjas.
No,
he
they
just
just-
tries to make his owner happy. A 10-year-old girl named Laura.
And Laura is a demon hunter.
No, she's just a kid that
She's a demon
enjoys playing
slayer.
with Hamtaro and the Ham Hams.
Ham hams?
Geez,
Wait,
Critic,
it's
you're
just
acting like
a
this is
show
perfect
about
fit
your
for Toonami.
pets.
Is it?
Of course! Amongst all the
How?
fighting and the bloodshed and the
And giant
intense
robots
action,
and
Hamtaro's the most
political?
badass of them all.
A hamster show.
Man. Hamtaro.
My sunflower seed is gone.
I'll help you look. 2 hamster heads are better than 1.
This was on Toonami.
Yeesh, this is pointless.
Why?
You know, some people just don't understand the epic weight of Hamtaro.
Epic weight?
What? What did it add?
Okay, I guess I don't get Hamtaro.
I'm
don't.
embarrassed for all of us.
Let's just move on to something a little bit more laid back and subdued. Justice League.
What?
Before the
Laid back.
MCU gave us whatever that movie
Justice
was,
League.
There was a Justice
Never seen
League
it.
that knew how to give the people what they wanted.
Yeah, no. Very unfamiliar with any DC
Justice League is
superheroes,
such a
comics,
quality
anything,
show.
really.
The animation is
Martian
excellent.
Manhunter's actually a good guy, which is
Storylines are
crazy.
engaging and exciting, not dumbing things down for a younger audience, but bringing every age along for the ride. And the chemistry between the main core superhero group is my favorite in all of DC adaptations. Also,
I know
let's be
a lot of
honest,
these from
having
Death
Martian
Battle.
Manhunter and Hawkgirl part of the main group
Who?
ruled.
Who's Hawkgirl?
Crossover?
I said Hawkgirl, not Birdgirl.
Oh.
Justice
still
League
staring
had
at him.
mostly 2-part episodes, while Justice League Unlimited, the show that came directly after 2 seasons of Justice League, dropped that format and added even more characters. Though I guess it was okay if that meant getting the most awesome punch Superman has ever thrown.
Why was that the most awesome punch he's ever thrown? Oh! That's why!
I want to marry that punch.
He's throwing hands.
Even in Justice League, though, the lesser-known character cameos could stack up to the dozens or even hundreds. They tackled some cool storylines like Superman dying, the Legion of Doom assembling, and the love story between Hawkgirl and Green Lantern. Also,
That's
the
a
cast
thing?
of Teen Titans came in and voiced the Royal
Teen
Flush
Titans?
Gang, hired by the Joker to fight the League, and it
I did watch
was
Teen Titans.
awesome.
That is the weirdest sentence I have ever heard you utter.
You should hear me when I'm sober. With so many people wanting that
What?
perfect Justice League adaptation, I say we already got it. It had many adult moments, but never lost sight of that childlike wonderment. It was action-packed but smart, aggressive but sensitive, followed the comics but also stood as their own thing. I'd much rather take this Batman and Superman fighting than this Batman
Oh,
and Superman
that
fighting
one.
any day.
Dude, imagine wearing armor for Superman. What is armor gonna save you from with
It's
Superman?
strange, though, with Dragon Ball Z being such a big hit, you'd think they run more Dragon Ball shows. Walter!
Did they? It's not GT, is it? Is it GT?
With every canyon-destroying step forward, you take a canyon-destroying step back. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT.
Oh, GT.
Dragon Ball Legacy.
Oh, GT. Which, I mean, I think had a good
Dragon Ball
ending.
was, I guess, in Toonami's order, the prequel to
But
their hit show Dragon Ball Z.
Toriyama
It
didn't
followed
have
a boy with a
any
tail named
impact
Goku
on
and
it.
his new friend Bulma
Or he
on their
didn't
quest to
want
collect the
anything to
7
do with it, I don't
mystical
think.
Dragon Balls. When all 7 are brought together, the eternal dragon Shenron appears, granting his summoner
Biggest
one
green.
Oh, please. Everybody who saw Dragon Ball Evolution knows that.
See, that's what happens with
Dragon Ball
that
Evolution. Yeah, no.
Along the way,
Me and my
Goku
girlfriend
makes
will
new
see that,
friends,
and I'm like, oh, you
enemies,
want to
is
watch
trained
that?
further
She's
in
like, no. I'm
martial
like,
arts, fights
good
in
call.
tournaments, and takes on a whole army. This anime was released in Japan in 1986, but only started airing on Toonami in 2001. Therefore, a lot of kids saw Dragon Ball after already being exposed to the much more action-oriented and serious second series. Dragon Ball had
Which
plenty
Z.
of action, but it was a much lighter show. It was more comedic and goofy. I'll admit, it was a bit jarring back then at the height of DBZ's popularity to see something so different that involved the same characters.
Oh, yeah, Dragon
I
Ball
felt
and Dragon
I
Ball
already
Z is
knew
a
very
huge
well.
difference.
It wasn't until I was older that I appreciated the series for what it was and truly enjoyed it. Dragon Ball will forever be important to the history of anime and animation in general.
That's true.
It's filled with great storytelling, adventure, action, and its trademark pervy comedy.
You let me have your Dragon Ball, and I'll let you have a little peek. What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?
I feel like a lot of people watching now should be asking that.
Dragon Ball GT takes place several years after the end of Z. It follows Goku being transformed back into a child by the Black Star Dragon Balls. With Trunks
Black
and
Star
his
Dragon
granddaughter
Ball.
Pan, he has to travel the galaxy to find them so he can be transformed back into his adult state. The series is notable for it not being based on a manga and having limited involvement from Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama.
Is this a good thing or
Bad thing. Real bad thing.
This is
real bad.
absolutely the black
The ending's
sheep of the
good, I
Dragon Ball
think.
family. It only lasted 64 episodes and failed to connect with its audience like DBZ did. When Dragon Ball
Also,
Z was
Goku made his
still
own
airing,
move.
I remember hearing so much about GT. Magazines, internet articles, rumors about what was going to happen on the show were present quite a bit among the fan base. There was almost this mystique surrounding it. When they
So
finally
people
aired
liked
it in
it?
2003, I knew right away this wasn't going to be what I had come to expect.
I'm sorry, is that the song? I'm sorry, was that was Super Saiyan 4?
Yes, this is happening.
Is that the only time he's like
That
ever?
crappy intro
It's
was simultaneously the
Super
dumbest
Baby 2,
and most
who's
disappointing
got hands
thing
in
I
fighters.
ever
Holy
heard.
crap, he's got
Say what you
hands.
will about DBZ's American Score by Bruce Falconer, but I grew up loving most of it, and his presence was sorely missed in DBGT. The American music was terrible, and that was the least of this show's problems. I think the plan was to take the Dragon Ball saga back to its roots by turning Goku into a kid again, but it did not work. To
Well, also,
complicate
wasn't
matters,
Goku supposed to get
Funimation
killed
edited
off at the end of
together
Z?
chunks of the first 16 episodes as a one-episode Toonami premiere.
Well, that's almost as stupid as telling an entire season of a show in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
These were later released as the Lost
Terrible
episodes,
movie.
as Funimation was concerned about the big tonal shift GT made from Z. It remains a gigantic letdown, but that was far from the end of Dragon Ball content. As previously stated, the popularity of Dragon Ball is doing just fine nowadays. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
look
it's still
to be
doing
ending
great.
anytime soon.
It's still doing real good. Just
It doesn't
GT
look like
being
Toonami's
its thing.
popularity was gonna end anytime soon either. With all these epic shows that they're constantly putting out, I can't wait to see what Toonami would do next.
Nothing.
This summer, you'll learn just how cool it is to be part of the Goozy gang.
At least it looks better. The animation looks better, but what?
What the hell was that?
I don't know. What was that? What did they do to it?
No, seriously, what was that?
Well, what did they do to it? Why? But why? Black screen. Hi, how's it going? Oh god, that's loud.
Toonami eventually started what they called their midnight run, meaning because the shows
So were
were
these
shown
late at
later,
night?
they could get away with more blood, gore, and, well, more adult stuff they couldn't get away with in prime
Like
time.
Adult Swim.
Some old school 80s shows would find themselves working their way into the Toonami lineup, including G.I. Joe, Voltron, He-Man, and Thundercats. And the nice thing about
All
these
things
reruns
I
is
never
some of them
watched.
spawn some pretty decent reboots.
Hey, I didn't miss the cake, did I?
Yes, you did.
Like I said, pretty decent. Thundercats, for example, got a completely new show, trying to update the original material with a more mature storyline and characters and give the animation more of an Avatar The Last Airbender look. It was a decent attempt, but it never caught on. I think the reason is it made the characters a little too young. A lot of us like Thundercats because it was watching grown men and women kick ass with the kids as the side characters. It's
Which
not that we didn't
probably
welcome
why it should
more
be.
complex stories, we just wanted it with more grown-up characters. Not growing up characters. I mean, come on,
GT
we
go.
want to hear the Thundercats talk like this.
It was just plain stupid to assume it might be bad. Just what the fuck am I talking about?
I mean, come on.
Wait,
How
what?
about a show that
Is that a
finally
fourth wall
gives
break?
the fans what we've always wanted to see from these characters.
What?
Nailed it.
Thundercats
He-Man was also
Roar?
given a makeover, trying to give it a grander and somewhat darker tone. They did a lot of things pretty good, like give Skeletor a pretty cool
Whoa.
backstory, and made the look of the show more focused on the barbarian aspect rather than the sci-fi. But it's still He-Man. It's
What's
still
wrong with-
corny, silly,
Oh.
and goes back and forth between being really dark and gritty and being, well, He-Man.
She's, kidding, right? Some kind
Maybe.
of birthday prank.
I mean, I guess it's better than Dolph Lundgren getting his ass whipped by a laser red Twizzler, but no, I have nothing else to add. It is definitely better than that.
Oh,
Both
is
this
it?
and
That's good.
Thundercats were valiant attempts, and honestly, not bad shows on their own, but neither were the epic reboot fans were expecting. He-Man did manage to get one more season, while Thundercats sadly only got one.
But come on, man. We're here to talk about what Toonami is best remembered for.
Yeah,
Like
Tom,
what?
What's the next show coming up?
This summer is the summer
That's not
of
Tom.
Yo! In honor of your newness, we're gonna have
Well, Tom looks different.
What did they change? Why did
Yeah,
they change it?
imagine one day you came home ready to see Tom hype you up with action and mayhem,
And he
instead,
just pieced
you
out?
got this.
It looks like the girl from Monsters Inc. got older and entrapped the monsters in an aquarium, and if they tried to escape, she'll kill Bill their asses.
Yo,
Oh,
back away
okay.
from the remote.
This was Magoozy, Cartoon Network's replacement for Toonami during the weekdays starting in 2004. As you can tell, it was aimed at much younger kids.
I don't think you
Why?
guys are quite ready for
Why
that.
was it aimed at younger kids?
But
Why?
what happened to Toonami?
It was now only airing on Saturday nights from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Fans were thrilled.
And this was... They got one spot.
Still, even though it was only on Saturdays, Toonami added more shows to the roster.
Any of them hamster related?
How long were the
No, but
episodes?
there
Were they
is a
15 minutes or 30 minutes? Like,
It's a little better.
it's only a couple hours. Like, you can't show everything.
Nothing!
What are you people?
Older than me.
Time to sharpen your blonde hair and bring out
Oh, we're
your
back to
entertainment.
him.
Naruto is fighting the good fight.
Naruto. I had no
I
idea
liked Dragon Ball
Naruto
Z,
was
but
on
felt like it needed more
Cartoon
ninjas,
Network.
then
Never watched
Naruto might
it.
have been more your speed.
I had family
The show
friends
was
that
another
love
shonen franchise
Naruto.
about the hero's journey, but focused on an
But I don't
orphan
think they
boy
watched it on
with
Cartoon
latent
Network.
powers he didn't know he had from a
I think
nine-tailed
they
demon
watch it
fox.
on the same
And he
channel
trains
as
to hone his abilities,
like
fighting stronger
Pokemon
opponents
and
along
stuff.
the way. Sound familiar?
Mystic
Yeah.
Pizza?
Okay, yeah. Masashi Kishimoto was heavily influenced by Dragon Ball, even creating Naruto to loosely resemble Super Saiyan Goku's appearance and Sasuke resembling Vegeta.
Oh, really?
paralleling a
With those
similar
peak?
frenemy relationship. While inspired by DB, Naruto was a little more grounded in its concept, focusing on shinobi in a war-torn world. Here, the characters had to hone their jutsu, weaving intricate hand signs in order to properly execute a
Yeah.
move. This
I've
is
only
where
made that
Naruto
reference
found
like
its
3 times
more so
today
being
while
about
recording.
strategy rather
I
than
spent a
he was
lot of time
physically
recording
stronger.
today.
So it's like Avatar, only
Blonder.
It was more about whose technique could beat what, whose jutsu could counter an attack.
And a lot of
Could it work
episodes.
from a different angle? It became intricate and fascinating, like a game of chess instead of just arm wrestling. Also, Naruto actually had some pretty effective storytelling that fans could relate to. For example, Naruto was an outcast, and Sasuke had a similar background to Naruto, though Sasuke is a lot more respected simply because of their differing heritages. Their stories
I thought
are
it was
all
different
deeply woven
hairs.
into some political intrigue,
Heritages.
the hypocrisy of the ninjas governing world, and blah blah blah. If that's not your thing, here's more fighting.
You're finished!
Nice.
Naruto had several great characters, and Rock Lee was by far my favorite. He was quirky
Rock
and strong-willed
Lee.
and had to supplement his inability to use jutsu with his raw martial
Then
arts
there's
skill.
Mike Guy.
I thought that was so badass.
I had no. I
The
thought.
challenge is also
oh,
enough to intimidate any enemy.
All in all, Naruto quickly became a successor to the action jumping
Yeah,
fans
no,
of
I
Dragon
was
Ball Z.
first time I saw
The
Mike
series
Guy, I
rose
was
to
like, why are there
popularity
2 Rock
right as the
Lees?
Dragon Ball
Who got
franchise's
mad?
initial run was coming to an end.
Actually,
Dragon
people are
Ball
mad at me right
Super
now.
would become a thing, but until then, Naruto had the action and the characters to give us our shonen fix.
Yeah, the comments on this video are gonna be
Demons living
hilarious.
inside you is fine.
Are they?
But what happens when aliens live inside you?
Well, I think we found that out.
With what?
I was talking about
Oh.
Ben 10.
Oh, I watched Ben 10.
This is sick.
Yeah, Billy.
I like Ben 10.
Call the Men in Black. We got your alien Pokemon all set up in Big Ten Alien Force.
And the Omnitrix and all that.
Benjamin
should fight
Kirby,
the Green Lantern.
Ben Tennyson gets an alien watch device called an Omnitrix, allowing him to ship shapes into 10 different alien heroes in Ben 10.
Yeah, no, the
5
10
years
number
later,
kind
we
of
get a
changed.
darker and more grown-up 15-year-old Ben in
I
Ben
remember
10
that.
Alien Force. His Omnitrix
I watched that
has
one as well.
recalibrated, giving him access to more alien heroes that are stronger and more powerful than the OG episodes.
But he still
With the
used
help
some
of
of the
his cousin
original
Gwen
10.
and his former nemesis, Kevin, Ben is out to find his missing grandfather and fight the Dian aliens.
Wow, well this sounds superior compared to the first show.
This is inferior compared to the
What?
first show.
Is it actually?
Though the aliens may be stronger and more powerful, the writing, animation, and storylines have taken a downgrade.
I like his outfit.
I enjoy
The
Alien
green
Force
jacket is
overall,
sick.
and out of all the different spin-off series that came after the original Ben 10, it is the best. But it does
How
seem
many
to lose a bit
were
of
there?
what made Ben 10 so much fun. Don't get me wrong, we wanted more Ben 10 and we got some great episodes with this updated and more adult version.
Those
It's
things
just
are
never gonna
terrifying.
quite capture the magic the original Ben 10 had. It's by no means a bad show, but it doesn't hold a candle to the original.
I liked all the Ben
But let's
10.
get back to anime with Yu Yu Hakusho.
Did you just sneeze backwards?
Everybody asks that.
Is that how you say that? Isn't that the Lanny Pator's first abridged series that he's reacting to the creator commentary of? Oh, what are on his feet?
They say finger pointing is rude. Well, with Yu Yu Hakusho, it can save your life.
Oh, they do the finger pointing. People are talking about that in the Cell Versus videos
Oshiro
with
Togashi.
Kirby.
This was a very unique series.
'Cause
in
he
of
was
itself.
doing, like, the
story
finger
starts
pointing.
With a delinquent high school student, Yusuke Urameshi. Our main character ends up dying right at the beginning of his story, trying to save a child's
Sounds like
life
Dragon
from
Ball
an
Z.
oncoming car.
Short series.
I've seen shorter.
The Punisher.
From here, he's granted abilities by the powers that be in the afterlife to stop heinous crimes from demons and spirits trying to take over the mortal world. Yusuke becomes what is called a spirit detective, solving crimes the authorities couldn't. It was like Men in Black, but with ghosts and the occult.
So more like Ghostbusters meets Chinatown.
Only less
What is-
incesty.
Yeah, Ghostbusters had a lot of that.
While the concept
Was Chinatown
another
a
monster
show
movie
or something? I know it's a
scenario, it had
place,
unique
or
film
places.
noir edge to its approach. The series saw some decent success in the early 2000s, getting a primetime spot on Toonami's block. It was an interesting idea executed uniquely with a great style and characters to keep us interested until the end. It did start to lose its unique touch, trying to mimic the explosive styles of other anime action series, but thankfully ended on a more grounded note, with Yusuke coming to terms with his heritage and finding a new family in the friends he's made.
Oh.
Spoilers?
Yeah, family and friends are to be valued. I did not know that.
Oh.
It
For
loses
children.
its roots once or
We're gonna
twice,
tell me
but
Bleach
it
was
gets
on
back
this
track
too?
Near the end.
Was Bleach ever on Toonami? Probably not. That's probably
Talk about the
no.
Batman.
Which one?
The TV show.
Which one?
The animated one.
Which one?
The one that's just okay.
Which one?
Oh, I'm guessing there's that many. Okay.
What are we doing? What?
What are we doing?
Another Batman in the Belfry, but this one contains the word "the."
I can't get over it. They're just doing the same thing over and over again.
For better or worse.
Which Batman was this? The one that was
Simply
just
put,
okay.
This is another passable animated Batman show. Have we seen it before?
Whoa.
More or less. Does it bring anything extremely new to the table?
I'm
The
guessing that's
animation
the
is
Penguin.
cool, and seeing a younger Batman meet his villains for the first time is fun, but not really. Is it still a good show that I recommend? I'll bet, yeah! Sure, this series borrows a lot from what we've seen before. The character arcs are all mostly the same with some slight variations, mostly due to other DC shows running at the same time. We do get
Yeah.
a large assortment of classic Batman villains, which is cool, and overall a solidly designed show. What is interesting is that Robin doesn't appear until season 4 because he was in Teen Titans, which was running until the Batman started its 4th season.
Oh,
We get instead
wow.
Batman was his sidekick up until
They literally like,
Other
I'm
than
gonna
that,
take your
the
viewers
characters that we know
now.
and love are all there. We only get 2 series original characters that aren't seen in other adaptations, Chief Angel Rojas and Detective Ellen Yin.
Bullshit original. That's Elisa Maza.
Oh, come on.
Who?
That's...
Scary how much they look alike.
Maybe they're sisters.
I think she's Asian.
I think you should shut up.
Oh.
The Batman doesn't take as many chances as other Batman shows, but it doesn't do the exact same thing either. The
Yeah, that's
characters
actually
do
kinda
have a look
sick.
that you can easily identify as being from this show, unlike the other Batman
Where they all kinda
incarnations,
look
they
the
all
same.
pretty similar. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's just different enough to warrant a view.
And as someone that's never seen anything Batman related, you see one of those like,
Yeah,
which
but
one
that
is
show
it?
was what? 5 seasons? I want a show that goes on for so long it's like a tire fire no amount of water could possibly put out.
One Piece.
One Piece was on
Why
Toonami?
would you want that?
It's the Energizer.
One Piece is
Aquaman.
still coming out with new
One Piece
episodes.
definitely knows
Ida's
how to keep
insane.
going,
Ida.
going,
Oh god, I'm an idiot. Why did I just say Ida? It's because I recorded My Hero Academia Bridge.
One Piece.
Ugh.
If you like Dragon Ball but felt like
Why
you
did I
needed
say
more
Ida?
pirates.
Does everything have to come back to Dragon Ball? Yes.
Yes. Akira Toriyama.
Pilgrims in an
Changed the
unholy
world.
land.
Okay, that's unfair to say, but Eiichiro
Oda,
Oda was
yeah.
also another manga creator heavily influenced by Akira Toriyama. One Piece is a
Oda
treasure in of
is
itself, garnering
insane.
its own popularity.
I have a
put
One
itself
Piece
in the same
reaction
league as
channel.
Dragon Ball and the like.
It would
It's
just
the
be
story of
almost
Luffy,
impossible
an orphan
on top of
boy
everything
with
else to
strange
do.
powers who wants
I'd have to
become
get an
the king
editor.
of the pirates by becoming the strongest.
I've talked
and
about it
finding the
before.
highly coveted MacGuffin.
I want to
treasure
react to One Piece.
known as One Piece. His journey involves
I know it's going
giants,
crazy right
sea
now.
monsters and animal people, ghosts, ghouls.
I'm pretty familiar
dragons,
with
and
One Piece.
superpowered
I've reacted to a
beings
couple
that
videos
utilize the
about it.
various powers from a food called devil fruit.
Sounds like if Monkey Island was a drama.
Having swallowed a devil fruit himself, one called the Gum Gum fruit,
Is that similar to Hams? I will cut you if you mention Hamtaro again! I will cut
Oh.
you! I will cut your head, you by your tie, you son of a bitch!
so it turns him into a rubber human.
He's very defensive.
In the same vein as Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. Part of the fun of the show is the world is larger than life, and
It's
super
mostly
magical.
water.
They travel to various islands, from ones in the sky to ones at the bottom of the very ocean they sailed. What Naruto accomplished in detailing creative fights, and Dragon Ball Z did in its explosive action, One Piece did
It's
for
still
world
going
building.
on. It's
Alas,
still going
therein
on.
lies the double-edged sword of Oda's writing. The world was fully detailed and fleshed out, almost a little too detailed.
No,
the
it's
constant
perfect.
talking about the world starts to bloat
Well,
the story
there's filler,
and digress
but-
from the plot, sometimes becoming boring and hard to follow. And I mean, episodes would be spent on giving the background of a new character, something that could be easily summed up in a flashback. As of this review, this
Oda.
show has 20 seasons and nearly 900 episodes.
It's over to like
And they still
1,100
have
episodes
problems.
now, isn't it?
It's like for every episode, it generates 3 more.
Like a perpetual anime episode machine.
In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics!
No, we don't.
Interestingly, Toonami saved this show for the US by putting Funimation's dub on air. When One Piece
Oh.
was being localized to the US, its initial 4Kids dub was a lackluster show at best,
And the
with
4
clunky
Kids
translations and
dub
heavily unnecessary
music.
edits. An already abstract story was becoming increasingly hard to follow. Thankfully, after 4Kids lost the dubbing rights, Funimation
Good.
picked it up to do it justice. Just another anime Toonami helped out to keep going, even if it looks like there's no end in sight.
No, it's still going on. That's
Speaking
so
of no end in
insane.
sight, do you remember when Star Wars was going to end at some point?
Never seen Star
Sounds like
Wars.
we're really gone.
I watched a little bit of Clone Wars.
The Force is strong with this one. So much so that many people like Star Wars, the Clone Wars, even more than the prequels.
Clone Wars is on?
Talk about combining an insult and a compliment.
Oh, that's not the Clone Wars.
Did
Is
you
it?
like
Oh, it is.
the
Okay, no, it
versions
just looks
of
different. That is the
Solo
Clone
and
Wars.
Rogue One?
Yeah, I've seen these.
Then listen up.
Not all of them,
no,
but I've seen
well,
some
still
of them when
listen
they'd
up,
be
because
on.
This series is awesome. Star Wars The Clone Wars is what happens when we keep everything canon but fix the prequel movies. Anakin, fixed. Padme, fixed. Jar Jar Binks, okay, you know, we can't have it all.
It's like curing death. It's never gonna happen.
The character design and development in this series is often
It's the only Star Wars
Anakin is
I
what
watched.
we always wanted. Angry, but not inherently evil. Not
So
upfront,
cool.
at least.
I
Remember
loved
when
it.
Obi-Wan speaks about Anakin in A New Hope and
Nope.
is like, he was the best star pilot in the galaxy and a cunning warrior and was a good friend. Well, we actually see that character development in this show. Also, the series-specific characters like Ahsoka and Asajj Ventress are so killer, figuratively and literally. While The Clone Wars is an awesome
Did they just
CG
start a new
series
show
whose
called
animation
Ahsoka?
improves greatly as each season goes by. Just Clone Wars is a micro-series with hand-drawn animation and is just over
Yeah,
2
I didn't
hours
watch
long.
this.
Even with that short runtime though, this
That's
micro-series
weird.
is epic. The
That's
music,
weird.
The story,
That's
the
really
action,
weird.
the art style. All
I don't
of
like
it.
the art style.
Also, being directed by Genndy Tartakovsky.
That's a
seriously,
name.
Can this guy do any wrong? This is an even awesomer Samurai Jack with lightsabers. Yeah, an awesomer Samurai Jack with lightsabers. Made in between Star Wars episodes 2 and 3, this was made to bridge the gap of time for viewers, and in my opinion, is better than all the prequels combined.
Cool.
So, yeah, if the Star Wars movies aren't doing it for you anymore, don't think that they're your last hope. For there is
The Last...
another.
Isn't there a Star Wars movie called The Last Hope? I want to say there is.
On September 20th, 2008, Cartoon Network
2008,
announced
so I
it
was
would be
11.
canceling Toonami
Just
due to low
turned
ratings.
11.
For many, this was the end of an era. Though there would still be anime and other more adult shows on Cartoon Network, it seemed the gateway that made us aware of so much great content was finally being closed off.
Huh.
So many
That's
foreign
sad.
imports that wouldn't have gotten nearly as much attention or exposure owe a lot to what Toonami did for them.
It opened our eyes to so many shows, so
What is
many
that
adventures,
thing?
so many characters that we would hold dear to our hearts.
Whether for laughs, tears, dumb fun, or gripping drama, Toonami left a legacy of programming that we would never forget.
Never heard of it.
But then, one evening on April 1st, this played.
And April 1st was it a prank? They did not do an April
Yeah,
Fool's
ha, ha, ha.
prank.
Cartoon Network once again ran their April Fool's prank of
It
playing
was so
The
fun.
Room. Only this
Wait,
time,
what?
it was a double bluff.
Got the
Wait,
results
what?
of the test back.
They do that every year?
Definitely have April Fools.
Cartoon Network didn't play The Room, but instead played a sneak peek of its return to Toonami.
Wait, Toonami came back?
Enough people over the years have requested its return, and on May 26th,
Wait, was that Bleach?
2012,
Wait a
Toonami
minute.
was back.
Wait a
It's
minute.
had changes since its return.
Wait a
as is to
minute.
be expected, but now a new generation could be introduced to the excitement and buildup of getting ready to watch something not 100% for adults, but not 100% for kids either. It was the stepping stone into great stories and different styles that weren't always seen in everyday media. A mixture of corniness, intensity, comedy, drama, simplicity, complexity, and of course, a shit ton of action. Toonami gave just the right amount of edge that
What?
whether introducing us to something old or something new, it always gave us something epic. And tons of young people out there couldn't have been more thankful.
The one hand Kamehameha.
Toonami faithful. And remember, if you want a really cool channel, go over to Epic Voice Guy's page.
Epic Voice Guy.
funny and handsome.
Oh, he did this. Hi.
Pay no attention to that epic voice in the booth.
That's an epic voice. I will say
So,
that.
Critic, it sounds like you finally came around on Toonami.
Did he?
Yeah, you know, at first I didn't get it, but after hearing you all talk about it, I finally realized the impact that it actually had.
Come on. Let's watch one more.
One more what? So is Toonami back now, or is it away? Because this is a couple years old. Who are you?
Oh, holy smokes. Sorry I'm late. Wait. Whoa. You guys done? No. You cannot be done talking about Toonami. You haven't even talked about the biggest show they ever had on. Jackie Chan Adventures.
What? That was a thing?
Jackie Chan is this archaeologist, right? And he
That's
has to
not
travel around the
what?
world and find these talismans. There's 12 of them, and they're based off of the zodiac signs, and then he's trying to keep them away and out of the hands of the evil people. They're called the Dark Hand. They're evil. They're working for this demon. His name is Shendu. He's the worst, and he's also trapped in a dragon statue because his regular form is a dragon, and he wants to get back to his regular form. Jackie Chan has to fight all of these bad guys. There's Easter eggs of his entire career throughout the show. It's incredible. After each episode, these children that write in and get to ask Jackie Chan questions, and then he answers them.
Right.
It's amazing.
Wait, is it actual Jackie Chan, but he's an archaeologist? Oh. Oh, that's sad. Oh, no, that's so
Guess
sad.
It's just you and me again, Jade.
I don't care. Being passionate about something is awesome, okay? It's gonna be
And the
super
Wonder
loud.
Twins, Sand and Gina, with their space monkey, Bleak.
Space Monkey.
Hey, Doug
Charity
Walker's
shout
here.
out.
Habitat for Humanity is
Habitat
this
for
week's charity.
Humanity. Wait, like,
Habitat for Humanity partners
whatever this
with
video makes in the
people
first day will go to
communities all
Habitat
over
for
the
Humanity.
world to help them build or improve a place they can
Thank you to the
call
patrons.
home.
It
Habitat
would not be possible
homeowners
weren't for
help
them.
build their own homes alongside volunteers and pay an affordable mortgage. With your support,
Affordable
Habitat
mortgage? That
homeowners
sounds
achieve the strength,
lovely.
stability, and independence they need to build a better life for themselves and for their families.
I like
Through
how
their
that hat is
2020
turned to the
strategic
camera.
plan, Habitat for Humanity will serve more people than ever before through decent and affordable housing. Their vision is to see a world where everyone has a decent place to live.
Of Cleveland.
If you agree that everybody has the right to live a life where they can prosper and grow, then click on the link and help these good people.
And I think right now they could probably need it more than ever before. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the comments are going to be hilarious. So, if you want to laugh, just go down to the comment section and you're going to see a lot of people having fun laughing at or making fun of me for having no idea what Toonami is, or having never seen any of these shows, having absolutely no idea what was going on most of the time. But yeah, like I said, I was born in 1997, so this was a tiny bit before my time, even though some of the shows did go on until I was like 11 years old. But I was also a kid that did like, I mean, I did play a lot of video games growing up, and I also did watch a lot of, like, TV growing up and stuff like that, but it was mostly, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and, you know, Bakugan and Beyblade, even though those were probably a little bit, actually, no, when did Beyblades and Bakugan become a thing? I'm not really sure, but I did watch, you know, like, the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And a little bit of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! 3Ds and stuff like that, the card games on motorcycles, fun stuff with that, and Pokemon. I watched a lot of Pokemon. I don't know what I watched up to, but I didn't watch the entire thing. I mostly just watched reruns and stuff like that. But like I said, I did play sports and did like activities, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, all that fun stuff. So I wasn't like one of those kids that was out of the house all the time. I did play a lot of video games. Well, a lot of people say doubt that because all the video games I played. I played the same video games over and over again and played video games that were not other kids didn't play, because my brother that's 5 years older than me, I would play whatever video games he played. So if he played an M-rated game because he's 5 years older than me, I would play an M-rated game that was probably too young for me. But this is Toonami. Everybody's been asking for it for so long. I really hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, shout out to the patrons. Shout out to everybody that's subscribed to the channel. I hope you are subscribed as we approach 100,000 subscribers. That would be awesome if we could hit it before the end of the year. It's not going to be likely, but it would be awesome if some miracle could happen. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I can't wait to read your comments. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.